Gloomwood, the other good kind of wood. It's time. You knew it was coming, and not just because it's cheaper to work our way through S35 Gaming's founder's Steam library because he buys these games anyway, so it's free to us. It's time to get your wood on and dive deep as we take a look at Gloomwood. New Blood Interactive is known for publishing games that harken back to simpler times. Times when video games had to rely on silly things like gameplay and fun, rather than graphics, because regardless of what you played on, your game was going to look like a potato. The video game industry has all but left these potato games behind it, with seemingly every game released lately being a visual powerhouse with little to no substance. But not New Blood. Oh no, New Blood loves potatoes. Take for instance Ultra Kill, the loaded baked potato of video games. And it's not just because New Blood's head, Dave Oshry's face, looks like it was made by Jim Henson. God damn it, that man's sexy. It has just about everything you could possibly want in a game. Violence as the cheese, blood as the greasy bacon, guns as the decadent sour cream, and a thumping soundtrack of chives sprinkled all over the top. All of this, and it's not getting bogged down in silly things like ray tracing or HD textures. Their other games include similarly chunky and hearty potato dishes like French fries and scalloped potatoes that are dusk and amid evil, respectively. Now, New Blood has a brand new title to add to their starchy recipe book, and it's called Gloomwood. If Ultra Kill is a loaded baked potato, and Dusk is a steamy plate of French fries, then Gloomwood would be something like a beefy stew with lots of potatoes. This is because Gloomwood is so much more than other games New Blood has put out, but it shares the now iconic New Blood look. It's a game that channels the immersive sim games of the 90s, including standout titles like Thief: The Dark Project and System Shock 2, games that are known for their deep, meaty player interactions and layered mechanics. Certainly not the mindless, speedy shooting of Ultra Kill, or the mindless, speedy shooting of Dusk. And that's not to say mindless, speedy shooting is a bad thing. I love filling demons and ghouls with lead as much as the next person. But Gloomwood, even in its current early access state, is the most comforting, methodical pot of beef stew I've eaten in a long time. God, I'm hungry. Do you know they don't feed me here? No, they just got me down in this basement making me play video games all day, and then I have to go into this booth and talk about them. Not even all of them are good. Look, I'd stab someone in the face for a bowl of beef stew right now. Okay, I've gone over my allotted 3 seconds of complaining. Let's get back to Gloomwood while I still dream about meat and potatoes. There are a few things going on from the moment you begin Gloomwood. You wake up at the bottom of a pit in pitch blackness. Then bright light fills the pit, and you're approached by two unsettlingly tall beings with long robes, weapons, and bright glowing eyes called huntsmen. The signature New Blood late 90s textures become immediately apparent once those lights come on. After they leave, a stranger then gives you some words of encouragement from behind the bars of your only exit and presents you with an item that forms one of Gloomwood's most important mechanics, a ring with a gem that displays how visible you are. Fans of Thief, and more recently the Splinter Cell series, will be intimately familiar with a visibility gauge. The ring, placed on the protagonist's right thumb, he has small hands, always faces the camera, giving you instant feedback on the state of your stealth. However, being completely shrouded in darkness means nothing if you're making a bunch of noise. Moving without sneaking, jumping, and walking over certain surfaces will immediately give away your position to the huntsman, whose eyelights will go from shining green in their passive state to yellow when they're searching, and finally to red when they've found you, which usually spells doom for the player. Gloomwood's intricate stealth mechanic alone would make for a solid game, but as with any immersive sim, it is just one option for how to play. Once you start building out your arsenal, you gain a few more options on how to handle situations. First, you'll collect the iconic cane sword, which is known as the weapon of choice for old people who hold grudges. You'll also add a revolver, shotgun, and harpoon launcher to your arsenal before very long. And boy, will you need those weapons. After you escape the opening area, you'll be facing more than just the menacing huntsmen. There are also canine creatures, the nightmarish crowmen, and the carcass-clearing corpse dusters. In general, you'll want to avoid these enemies using stealth. But just like any other immersive sim, there's nothing stopping you from running up to everything and shanking it with your cane sword or blasting it with a shotgun. The immersive simness, seriously, who named this genre? Shouldn't all games be immersive? Anyway, it becomes more apparent after the opening area, as does the game's horror-themed setting. The world opens up to a massive, spooky Victorian city where you can traverse rooftops just as easy as the alleyways and sewers below. If there's anything spookier than something that's vaguely British, then I haven't found it yet. You can almost hear the poor dental hygiene in the huntsmen's voices. An ominous mystery blankets the entire game world, covering it with a thick layer of intrigue and secrets that are just begging to be uncovered. Your ability to progress through the game and solve these mysteries is entirely dependent on your ability to explore, collect clues, and either sneak around enemies or fight them head-on. The player is completely free to make their own decisions on how to proceed at any given moment, which is part of what makes Gloomwood such a cool experience. Overall, Gloomwood is another wonderfully promising project from a publisher that knows exactly what its target audience wants. If you're old enough to remember the debut of Thief and System Shock, I'm sorry for you. If you're old enough to remember the debut of Thief and System Shock, you're as old as me, and I feel sorry for you. But you're also in a position to get much more out of the Gloomwood experience than any of these friggin' kids are. So with that, give Gloomwood a look if you're on the hunt for a spooky, stealthy, immersive sim. As for me, I'm going to see what little crumbs of food the folks at Studio 35 have left behind for me. So what's your favorite New Blood game? Let us know in the comments, and while you're here, why don't you check out why we thought The Last of Us Part 1 is totally a remaster and not a remake. This is Mike Golchinski, and I'll see you in the next video. Stay thick, people.